everyone. There's construction going on outside, and this is going to be a little awkward, but anyways. So this video is going to be about me talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I love the games, I love the series, I love the franchise, I love the story, I love everything about it. Minus most of the books that aren't canon, especially GGY from Tales of the Pizzaplex, because how the hell would a kid be influenced by Glitch Trap to hack and I don't know, go to therapy or whatever? It just doesn't make any sense. What was going on with the creative team behind that book? Seriously, why? Anyway. So, if you might know about some of my videos about relating to Fnaf and the fan game surrounding it, then you might know my a certain issue that I'm having with about how I want my version of the Schmidt family to be put in the Fnaf canon, regardless if it was the official universe or the fan games. Now, of course, you might know that Michael Afton and Mike Schmidt is from Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously, and Mary Schmidt is from Five Nights at Candy's, one of the most popular FNAF fan games. Now, people, including myself, now know that the game story mostly was because Scott was just making the games and just putting out the story one game after the other. He was just going with whatever he was doing. He wasn't trying to connect the story in any way. But even with some of the games like FNAF 4 or when Steelwool was gonna take over for FNAF, there was Security Breach and Scott had these Easter eggs and little minor stuff gonna be put into the game to tell the story, but people didn't saw FNAF 4 right away, and when he told Steelwool about the Easter eggs, and he didn't explain the plot, the story fully. He just explained about the things that were going to be put into it, and he wanted them to figure out the story for themselves, but it didn't plan out like Scott intended it for. So Scott, even with the first FNAF game, his story was, he didn't really think of the story. I'm pretty sure that Scott had no idea what he was going to do. He didn't want the story to get out. He was the only one who knew about it, and he didn't want to tell anyone, and I mean anyone, especially Steelwool, about 100% the story. There were just chunks, and similar to the story now of FNAF, I don't care if Scott is supposed to be an unreliable narrator, because almost all of us are unreliable narrators, including when I talked about Lolita, I forgot to mention about Humbert also being an unreliable narrator, especially since he tells the story from his perspective and how he views Dolores, a 12-year-old girl who he pursues, and he nicknames Lolita. He tries to tell the story in his perspective, and make her the villain, like she was trying to seduce him, but she wasn't. She was a literal child. And instead, people, especially back then, with a misogynistic society, people immediately said that Humbert was the victim and that Dolores was the villain, and that wasn't true. And honestly, I don't care about the story of Fnaf. I don't care about the unreliable narrator thing. I don't care if we have to put chunks of the lore together to create a cohesive story. Look, it's just a story. Okay? It probably doesn't mean anything. I don't care. I mean, we can make up our own assumptions. We can make up headcanons, AUs, and that's totally fine. That's fine. But let's just gather the canon of the story, especially since I had my own timeline explaining the series, including putting the fan games together, because obviously I don't care if the fan games are in their own universe. So, Fnaf, I'm just gonna say it's 1970s to the present. William Afton, a serial killer, but also a father of 3, and who is absolutely neglectful and abusive, and also a narcissist. He doesn't care about his family, and when his son dies, his youngest son dies at the hand of his brother, Michael Afton, William, their father, becomes absolutely upset, but not because he lost his child. It felt like it ruined him in a way. He just had a broken child and an absolute waste of space of Michael. And out of jealousy, he kills his best friend's daughter, Henry Emily's daughter, Charlotte, at Fredbear's family diner. And he then murders 5 children, stuffs their bodies into the suits of the animatronics Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. The puppet, Charlotte, gives life to the animatronics. And let's just say, Michael, William's son, hears about all of this. And Michael is just full of guilt. And I'm just going to say this, in my own version of the timeline, Michael has a family. He marries a woman who's 12 years older than him. And he changes his last name to hers. And Mary Schmidt and Mike Schmidt have 2 daughters. Obviously, in my version. And if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Fnaf 1, sister location. Fnaf 3, we all been there. William finally dies in Fnaf 6, goes to hell. He's resurrected in a way from Glitch Trap, and his by manipulating Vanny into doing his work, and in Secure Breach, William comes back in Burn Trap and is defeated. He dies, and the Mimic. I honestly don't care about the Mimic, and especially with the Secret of the Mimic gonna come out next year, I don't have high hopes for it. I just don't. Anyway, yeah, this video is just awkward. I'm just I'm probably just rushing through this, but I can't, I don't know. Okay, I seriously do not know why people think that the tales of the Petzplex books are even canon to the games. Like, it doesn't even make any damn sense, especially with GGY. Like, why? Why? Why do you care? What the fuck? What is with my... Excuse me. Okay, for some reason my vision just gets a little blurry. Anyway, so, as you might know, I just want my version of the Schmidt family to be canon in the Fnaf universe, regardless if it was the actual universe by Scott Coffin or one of the fan games, Five Nights at Candy's by Emily Mago. It really doesn't matter anymore. I mean, maybe Mike married married someone and had children with them, or maybe Mary married someone who wanted to change their last name to hers so they would just get away from their old life or whatever. I really don't care anymore. Really. And since I want my own version of the Schmidt family to be canon, or at least I would want someone to create artwork of them, and I've talked to someone who actually does artwork of Michael, well, mostly Michael Afton, but also Michael Afton and Mary Schmidt. When I told them about how I wanted them to be put into their artwork, and said if they would be okay doing it, they said that maybe someday they'll do it. And that's good enough for me. Now, recently, I try to find let's just say, I really don't know how to say this. Okay, the next video will be about, someone whose picture I saw and thought it would be perfect for Mike Schmidt, because in a way it spoke to me. Like, this person is perfect for Mike Schmidt, especially his smile. He just looks so cute. And back then I thought I found who he is, like his name or where he came from, but no. But until recently, I have found him. He's a model from Brazil, and he just looks absolutely charming. And let's just say, the person who I talked to, when I showed them the photo of the person who I took as inspiration for Mike Schmidt, if Mike Schmidt was a real life person, they said that he looked hot. And honestly, just looking pictures of that person, that model, I don't blame them. He looks hot, but cute, and my God, I just love it. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or not. And I hope you stay safe and away from idiotic people. Just be safe. Okay, that's all for this awkward video. Bye.